Welcome back to 5 Talk Street. I'm Christy Nelson. Last year, NBC5, the city of Irving, and 30 other local cities joined hands and cleared the animal shelters. And this year, we are going to clear the shelters again. And here to tell us all about it is Corey Price. She's the animal service manager for the city of Irving. Corey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks, Christy. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, Clear the Shelters will be the largest single-day adoption event in North Texas. Tell us about it.
That is absolutely true. Last year was the first time we ever tried to do something like this, and all the shelters decided to do the same thing on the same day. And we're going to do that again this year. We're going to waive the adoption fees on August 15th and try to clear our shelters again.
That's amazing. So do you have any idea just how many animals were adopted during this event last year?
I have that number memorized. We adopted out 2,273 animals in one day last year.
Oh, that's amazing. So what is it about the day and having a day dedicated to this? Does it just get everybody's attention?
I think it does. I think when we all say the same thing at the same time, people pay attention. You know, throughout the year, we're all doing different things. And when we do this, we do it together and we say the same thing. So it's a really unified effort among the animal shelters in North Texas.
Okay, so tell us the date first. We don't want to go any further. Let's say that. We'll get back to it. What's the date this year?
August 15th this year.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about why this is so important and why it's important to have so many shelters involved in this.
Every year in the spring, all the animal shelters really start getting full with puppies and kittens that are being born. And then as we go through the summer, the shelters are consistently full. And it happens in every animal shelter across the Metroplex. And so it's important for us to do this during this time of year because that's when the shelters need the help the most.
And has the weather had any effect on people, on the shelters? Are people bringing in more pets this year?
I think the weather definitely plays a role in the breeding cycles of animals. So this year we've seen a lot more kittens than we saw last year. I think the rain made the weather, cool enough where animals were reproducing a little bit longer than normal. So yeah, weather definitely plays a role for us, and our profession is very seasonal. But definitely spring and summer for any animal shelter is the toughest time of year.
Very busy. So will adoption fees be waived again?
They will. We're going to waive adoption fees again and try to get as many of these animals adopted just like we did last year.
Okay, and does that also include other fees, or does it include the fees for spaying and neutering? What other things are involved?
The spay neuter is included along with, it depends on the shelter, but most of the shelters are doing the vaccinations, the spay neuter, the microchip, all that stuff is included in the adoption fee. There are some shelters, primarily the municipal shelters, that will have to charge a registration fee, and it depends on the city how much that registration fee is. But the adoption fee itself, with all those things included, is waived on event day.
And of course, waiving the adoption fee makes it easier for a lot of people to get a pet, but is there a large return rate? Were you seeing pets brought back?
You know, people were worried about that last year, and what we saw was that the return rates were actually lower for the majority of the participating shelters than they were the rest of the year. So that really didn't have an impact on us last year, which is great because we're ready to do it again.
Okay, is there anything you have to do? Is there a procedure to qualify to adopt a pet on this day?
Every one of the shelters has their own adoption processes that they're going to use, but for the most part, you just need to be at the shelter, find an animal that you're interested in adopting, and have a conversation with the staff person at that particular shelter to determine whether or not you are going to go home. And most shelters have very open adoption processes, so it's pretty easy, but there's a lot of people that show up on event day, so if you have a particular pet in mind, you might want to get there first.
Yes, yes. And there are more shelters involved this time. We should say that again.
Yes, we're looking at almost 60 this year. Last year we only had 31.
So it's very likely that where you live, your shelter is involved and a pet that you want is available out there.
Absolutely.
And is there a way for you to cut through the clutter a little bit and look online?
Yes, NBC is going to have all the shelters listed on their website, but there's also a website called cleartheshelters.com where you can find all the shelters that are participating.
Fantastic. Corey, thanks so much for telling us all about it. We can't wait. It was so much fun last year.
No problem.
All right. And that's it for 5 Talk Street. I'm Christy Nelson. We'll see you next time.